Hey, how's it going out there, everybody? Hope everybody's having a great day. It's weekly recap time. If you guys don't know, then you're probably not subscribed, so go ahead and smash that subscribe button, ring the bell so you get notified, hit the like button, all that cool stuff. Let's get rolling. For you guys that don't know, I'll give you a little synopsis here, what goes on every week. Every week I do one of these for the weekly recaps. I go over the week I just had, maybe a week or two behind, but I go over the week, I talk about the loads I did, why I did them, how the week shaped out, any kind of tips I can give you on situations I was in, that kind of thing. I'm leased to an 80-20 split carrier. I don't talk about the carrier. Sorry if you don't like that, but it's just the way it is. What else I got going on? I don't put these numbers out to brag. I put them out for educational purposes. That's why you get the good ones and the bad ones. And I don't pay for trailer, stuff like that. It's all included in the 80-20 split. And that's the main questions I get all the time. So now that we got that done, let's get on with it. Let's get right into this weekly recap. It's going to be a short and ugly one. I can go ahead and tell you. The market's in the pooper right now, and some things are going to have to give real quick, or people are going to have to stop hauling freight. I mean, just where we're at these days, because repairs are putting us down for weeks at a time, and you can't get parts. It's pretty rough out here right now. When I say pretty rough, I mean damn horrible. It's absolutely horrible. I don't care how you shape it. It just is what it is. Even, I mean, spot market's really taking it. If you're on contract freight right now, you gotta think too, though. Contract freight typically doesn't pay as good. Now, you do get fuel surcharge, so you're not feeling the fuel side of it as much with the fuel surcharge. But this, crazy repair bills, out-of-hand shop times, out-of-hand shop hourly rates. These are things that everyone's got to deal with. So pretty much no one's insulated in this market right now. Freight volumes are down. That's hurting the spot market. Fuel prices are up. That's hurting everything. And, you can't get parts and you can't get repairs. So it's truly a well-designed, market to bring everyone down. I hate to say it, but that's just the reality of it. So let's talk about this week I did here. Worst week of the year easily so far. What a brutal week. What a absolute brutal week. So I was up in West Virginia getting unloaded, and I got a call and said, hey, we got a load in Georgia that needs to be picked up. Somebody can't get to it. If we can find you something to Georgia that's paying decent, you care to run down there, grab that, and come back to Minnesota with it. I did it, tried to help them out, but at the same time, there was nothing coming out of West Virginia. I was just stuck in West Virginia. There was nothing good. Like, I could come all the way back to Chicago and get a load for maybe $1,500 back to the house, and that's like 50% deadhead on that load. So I said, yeah, if you can find something decent out of West Virginia, going down there, go for it. They found me a dry load. I ran that down, and that kind of set up this week, and that's why I kind of started that out with that. The West Virginia load was on last weekly recap. So I always like to say, no good deed goes unpunished. So my radiator started coming apart when I got the West Virginia load going. I was losing coolant, and then having to pull 42,000 pound dry load through the mountains of West Virginia was not fun with a cracked radiator. And then going to Georgia and having to pull a heavy load out of Georgia back to Minnesota, really not that bad. Not a lot of mountains in there other than the long pull of Mont Eagle Mountain. Somebody said the other day I should just kick my fan on and leave it on going up the mountain instead of having it kick on and off. To run that fan pulls about 40 horsepower, so you're better off just letting it kick on. When it kicks on, it only stays on for about 10 to 15 seconds, and then it kicks right back off. At the most, it's on 30 seconds. I mean, that thing cools this truck down like nothing. So, that is a thought I used to think. You're better off just kick the fan on and leave it on. But after doing more research on it over the years, especially with the Cascadia, I think you're better off just to let it kick on and off automatically. But so we're in Georgia. The starting of this week is in Georgia. We're going to start with a backhaul. For you guys that know freight, that's typically not a good way to start your week, is on a backhaul. And then, so this week is It's like a 4-day week right here, but not really. I picked this load up on a Friday afternoon, like 3 o'clock in the, I don't think I got loaded till 8 o'clock at night. So Friday afternoon pickup, and then a 3 a.m. Monday delivery. So technically, I think of this more like a 2-day run, because I only had Saturday and Sunday in it. I went home Monday, so I really wouldn't count that. And Friday, I spent all day running around making deliveries for my, the previous load, or making a delivery. It was a one stop, but so I would count this 2 to 3 days on this week, honestly, the way I look at it. But technically, it bled into 4 days. So this load is Georgia back to Minnesota, like I said. 26 degrees, start and stop. I ran it that way. It was a load of chicken. Typically what I do when I load fresh meat like that, I will run it continuous for about the first, let's say 3 or 4 hours. I will run it continuous. That way I get, a lot of air movement. I get the product at a temperature. Because, a lot of times when they load meat, they don't always have meat at the right temperature. So I'm a little wary of start and stop on meat loads at first. I like to run it for, like I say, 3 to 5 hours. Typically what I'll do is I'll get loaded, I'll go scale the load, and then I'll just ride with it. And then whenever I feel like stopping, 3, 4, 5 hours later, I'll get out and I'll kick it back to start and stop. Especially at night. Like during the day, I might leave it on continuous, but at night, I'm definitely running it start and stop. It's 40,000 pounds of meat. If it's been cooled properly, it should hold temperature pretty damn well. And the reefer unit I had a 5-degree swing. So it would only go up to 31, and then it would kick on and pull it back down to 26, 25 before it kicked off. So it stayed in a nice range of like 26 to 31. That's fine on start and stop. As long as it's not kicking on too much. That's the main thing. 40,000 pounds, like I said, fresh chicken. 65 miles of empty move on that. 1,040 on the loaded miles. And let me tell you, that is that is not the best route, that 1,040 miles. I did it just so I could save the miles. But I think, honestly, there's a route where you can add about 60 miles to that and stay on the freeway. And I think next time I'll stay on the freeway. I hadn't been off through the woods over there in a while, and I went that way, especially with the busted radiator. And next time I think I'll just stick to the freeway when I ride up through there. That 60 extra miles probably cuts out 20, 25 red lights. It's probably the way to be for me, honestly. So let's talk about this load. This load paid $3,200. My 80% of that's $2,560. Not horrible for a backhaul, but it's getting tough out here. That's 1,105 all miles, 65 empty miles, 1,040 loaded miles, 6% deadhead on that. That's $289 all miles. Let's face it, I can still make money at $289 all miles. But it's getting tougher out here, with repair cost and fuel cost and, and low volumes, because you're not getting to turn as many miles. If I did 3,000 miles at $289 all miles, I'd have a damn good check. But when you don't get the miles in and you're waiting to get repairs and everything else, it adds up. So $289 all miles, my 80%, that's $231 per mile for my 80%. That's $308 a loaded mile. Again, not a horrible loaded mile rate, but with all things considered, it's about, what you need to make money these days. Let's go over some cost now for this load. I go over variable cost, but you'll have to plug in your own fixed cost at the end. Just the way I do it, plug in your own truck payment, your insurance, all that. But I'm just trying to give you an idea of what you're going to be spending a week on variable cost. So I spent $1,035 on diesel. I bought fuel twice. I bought fuel in Tennessee. I bought about 600 of that in Tennessee and about 400 of that in Missouri. So not even getting a lot of ifta out of either one of those states, but I would say it's probably pretty average. Those two states are probably kind of in the mid to lower range of the route I ran, but it's just where it was better, so that's where I bought it. Check out Mudflap. If you don't know, down in the description down below, I got links to Mudflap. I also put out a video the other day about a TVC Pro Driver EFS fuel card. Check that video out. If I can remember, I'll try to put a link to it up here somewhere. If not, I forgot. Sorry. But there's also a link for that in the description. You just call up TVC, say, hey, I want a fuel card, and I want a membership and a fuel card, and you know, there you go. There you go. That's how I save on fuel. And I spent $75 on reefer. I spent $13 on a scale. Total variable cost $11.23. And so we bring over my $25.60 over here. That makes minus the variable cost $11.23 a variable cost. That makes $14.37. That leaves me $1,437 left to do what I have to do with. Rough week, guys. Let's face it, rough week right there. Now, I could have grabbed a load out of Minnesota and went, you know, probably 1,000 miles, 1,200 miles out. You know, like I said, this was Monday morning. I was unloaded at probably 5, 6 in the morning, you know, with a 3 a.m. appointment. I could have grabbed and went, but had to get a radiator. You know, I didn't want to push it again. The leak was getting a little worse from pulling the mountains. It seemed like when it pressurized a lot, like, you know, got real high, it seemed to leak more than when it was just sitting and idling, you know, being, you know, cool on itself. So, you know, sometimes you just got to bite the bullet. It ruined the week, though, kind of not being able, well, not kind of, it did ruin the week not being able to grab another load and go, because this load here kind of covered my cost. Not all of them, but it covered a lot of my cost. And, you know, I ended up getting back with, you know, a decent amount of fuel in the tank, but I really couldn't utilize it till the next week. So, times are tough out here right now. We all know it. We all know it. So, that's the week, guys. It's kind of short and sour. It ain't sweet. It's short and sour. But that's where we're at right now. You know, we're going to have to, sort some things out right now. I think people that have really expensive equipment and don't get good fuel economy, you're going to have some decisions to make real quick. I mean, coming up on you real quick if it stays like this, because last week, you know, trucker news I put out, you know, van rates were going down 7 cents and 11 cents a day on average for like the last 2 weeks. I mean, when it's dropping 11 cents a day, who can run freight at that rate? You know, a lot of people are becoming unprofitable right now, and I hate to see it, because you worked hard, you saved up, and you bought equipment, and you did this, but, you know, business don't care about your feelings, so it's just how it is. I hate it, but it's just how it is. But that's it, guys. Hopefully everybody makes it through another week, and we can all, you know, get going again. But I think we need the economy to get going again a little bit. It kind of feels like we're kind of in a stall here. Interest rates going up are going to hurt things. It's going to be painful for the next month or so, I think, at least. You know, I don't see anything changing fuel prices, so that could be rough for a couple years still. So be prepared for that. But anyway, guys, I'm out of here. Thanks for watching Weekly Recap. If you could, smash that like button for me. Subscribe if you're not a subscriber. Ring the bell. Check it all out. And until later, take care of each other. Remember, people are more important than trucking.